The United States government is paying people cash bounties to kill crabs. Not catch them, kill them. Every single one. Alive or dead, doesn't matter. Bring in a body, get paid. The country has approved a $12 million program with one goal: wipe out every European green crab on American soil. And they're still losing. From 2021 to 2023, Washington state alone trapped and killed over 400,000 of these things. In 2022, they pulled out 1.9 million more. British Columbia is catching hundreds every single day, and the numbers keep climbing. This tiny crab is eating America's coastline alive, and nobody can stop it. Today you'll find out why the U.S. declared war on an animal the size of your fist, and why this war might be unwinnable. First, let's get something straight. America loves crabs. Maryland harvests blue crabs by the ton. Alaska runs a billion-dollar king crab industry. Maine lives off its shellfish. Crabs are monitored, protected, celebrated. So why is the government paying people to destroy these ones? Because they're a completely different species. And this species is a monster. The European green crab isn't native to any U.S. state. It belongs to the northeastern Atlantic, the coasts of Britain, France, Portugal, Scandinavia. Over there it's normal, a regular part of the ecosystem, kept in balance by local predators and competitors. But in the 1800s, trade ships started crossing the Atlantic constantly, and green crabs are excellent hitchhikers. Ships would take on ballast water in European ports and dump it in American harbors. Inside that water, crab larvae. The first recorded appearance was 1817 in Massachusetts. Nobody tried to stop it, because in the 19th century, invasive species wasn't even a concept. That was a catastrophic mistake. Green crabs spread slowly along the northeastern coast, taking over bays, river mouths, and coastal marshes. Then, global shipping exploded in the 20th century, and the same ballast water trick delivered them to the Pacific coast. Today, they exist on both U.S. coastlines. And in 2022, a confirmed specimen was found in Alaska. Climate change is warming northern waters, opening doors that used to be frozen shut. The invasion is expanding and accelerating at the same time. Now here's why everyone is terrified. Green crabs are aggressive predators that eat mollusks, small crustaceans, worms, anything smaller than themselves. In southern Maine, researchers ran large-scale field experiments and discovered that when green crabs are present, young softshell clam survival drops to near zero. The clams get eaten before they can grow. Maine's softshell clam harvest in 2017 fell to its lowest level since 1930. An entire industry gutted. And the same pattern repeats everywhere these crabs show up. But that's only half the damage. Green crabs are like tiny excavators. They dig through sand and mud, rip out shellfish, and churn up everything around them. This destroys seagrass meadows, those underwater fields where hundreds of species hide, feed, and breed. Researchers in Maine and Massachusetts have documented 50 to 80% declines in seagrass density in areas infested with green crabs. The roots get torn up. New shoots can't take hold. First you get bare patches, then nothing. And here's where it gets really unexpected. This also kills salmon. In the Pacific Northwest, young salmon spend a critical part of their early lives in estuaries and seagrass meadows. That's where they transition from freshwater to saltwater. It's shelter, it's food, it's survival. When green crabs destroy those meadows, juvenile salmon are left exposed. They move to find new habitat and run straight into more crabs. Salmon populations are now under direct threat from an animal that doesn't even hunt them. So what's the country doing about it? At the federal level, there's a dedicated European green crab management and control plan, backed by millions in funding. The strategy sounds simple. Spot a crab, respond fast, don't let it establish. Washington state declared the invasion an official emergency because ecosystems, fisheries, and the traditional way of life of coastal tribes were all at risk simultaneously. The methods are surprisingly creative. Trained dogs patrol shorelines, sniffing out green crabs buried in mud and hiding in tide pools. This isn't about mass removal, it's early detection. Find one crab and there may be a colony nearby. Scientists also collect water samples and test for green crab DNA. You might not see the crabs yet, but their genetic traces are already in the water. If the DNA shows up, trapping starts immediately. For mass removal, crews run coordinated operations in bays, estuaries, and river mouths. They deploy thousands of small, cheap traps checked constantly. Sometimes they collect crabs by hand at low tide. Other times they use bottom traps and vacuum pumps. Commercial fishers, tribal communities, and volunteers all participate. In some areas, there's a cash bounty for every crab caught. But here's where the war gets complicated. In 2014, scientists at Seadrift Lagoon in California tried aggressive trapping. Remove as many adults as possible. Logical, right? Fewer adults, fewer babies. The population didn't shrink. It tripled, from 90,000 to nearly 300,000. Why? Because green crabs are cannibals. Adults eat juveniles. When researchers removed the adults, they accidentally removed the population controllers. Young crabs that would normally get eaten survived and reproduced explosively. In ecology, this is called the Hydra effect. Cut off one head and two grow back. California taught the entire country a brutal lesson. You can't just trap your way out of this. You have to understand who eats whom. So why not use biological weapons? The green crab has a natural parasite, a barnacle called saculina, that hijacks its reproductive system and castrates it. The crab stops breeding. Problem solved, right? Except the parasite can also infect native crab species. Releasing it would be the textbook example of trying to fix an invasion and accidentally destroying local ecosystems. What about fighting crabs with crabs? Blue crabs are native to the U.S. Atlantic coast, and they're aggressive, omnivorous predators. In Chesapeake Bay, where blue crabs dominate, green crabs are practically absent. But stocking blue crabs everywhere would create its own ecological disruption. Nature isn't a simple equation where you swap one species for another. Then there are sea otters. They're not the cute, harmless creatures people imagine. They're predators that crush shellfish and crabs with rocks. Studies in the northern Pacific show that where otter populations are dense, green crab numbers stay low. The otters essentially patrol the territory. But otter populations are still recovering from near extinction. You can't deploy them like soldiers. And through all of this, the green crab keeps adapting. It tolerates water temperatures from near freezing to over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It survives in almost fresh water and in water saltier than the ocean. Its gills actively regulate internal salt balance. Its metabolism, heart function, and behavior can readjust in weeks. Where native species collapse, green crabs thrive. Scientists have even found they can absorb dissolved amino acids directly through their gills, pulling nutrients straight from the water when food is scarce. They are, without exaggeration, super animals. So what do you do with millions of invaders you can't stop catching? You eat them. Green crabs are small, with barely any meat, so you can't serve them like a traditional crab dinner. Instead, they get ground whole, shell included, and pressed into a paste for fish cakes and Asian-style dishes. In Maine and Massachusetts, programs launched under the slogan, "Eat the invasive, save the ecosystem." A distillery in New Hampshire even created a bourbon called Crab Trapper, infused with green crab stock. Their shells are rich in chitin, a natural substance used to make biodegradable polymers, a potential alternative to conventional plastics. The crabs work as lobster bait, soil compost, and calcium supplements for agriculture. The pest ends up on the table and in the lab. But none of that solves the core problem. Green crabs are spreading faster than they can be removed. Warming waters are opening new coastline. Every control method has a catch. Trapping triggers the Hydra effect if done wrong. Biological controls risk collateral damage. Natural predators can't scale up fast enough. The U.S. has dogs, DNA testing, millions of traps, dedicated funding, and an army of volunteers. And the crabs still keep coming. The real question isn't whether America can win this war, it's whether winning was ever possible in the first place.